Hello, we are live.
Hey.
And the recording has been started.
Cool.
So hello everyone. Thanks for joining all. So I think we can get started.
Let's go.
Can you all see my screen?
Perfect, yeah.
Awesome. Hello everyone. Thank you all for joining our first Celo Tech Talks. Today's presentation is the first part of the Celo Tech Talks series on all things Celo and how to build on the Celo platform. These Tech Talks will be hosted on a monthly basis starting today. While the general content of the Celo Tech Talks will be ideal for software engineers who are working on everything from mobile applications to distributed systems to blockchain to cryptography, today's presentation will provide plenty of introduction to anyone who wants to learn about Celo technologies and how they can contribute to Celo community. Next month, we'll be hosting a Celo Tech Talk on SDK. I'm Judy Piper. Some of you already met me. I'm an engineering partner at Berlin Celo Labs, and it's exciting to be here with my co-presenter, John Resiger. John, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Jean, and I'm a mobile application developer working on Celo.
We'll kick off today's session with an overview of Celo, and later, John will give you a deep dive on Celo Wallet. We are really excited to talk about Celo technology, our mission, and how we are building the mobile-first full-stack blockchain platform on behalf of everyone at Celo Labs. So let's get started. I'd like to start with a story about Kaburu. We met Kaburu only last year when the team went to the Nyarugusu refugee camp in Tanzania to conduct user research at the invitation of the World Food Programme. Kaburu is 47 years old, a husband and a father, and a former fisherman from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He's been living in the refugee camp for the last 20 years, arriving there in 1998, fleeing Congo during the country's second civil war, the world's deadliest conflict since World War II. While he has some stability now, there is a lot that prevents him from achieving his full potential. As for me, I've recently relocated from sunny California to Berlin, Germany, to build the Berlin cLabs engineering team. I had a hard enough time relocating between two first world countries and found plenty to complain about, just navigating, finding a place to live, getting a local cell phone, and setting up a bank account and getting documented. By comparison, Kaburu has no form of ID. He can access basic financial tools like banks or even local mobile money services. He's forbidden from working in the country, and even if he was able to, he doesn't have an easy way to receive payments over the internet or using his mobile phone. For these reasons, he can build wealth, and so he has spent the last 23 years of his life living in limbo. Kaburu is not alone in the challenges he faces. He is one of 1.7 billion people who are unbanked worldwide, and one of the 1.1 billion people without government-recognized IDs. If he wants to send money to his family overseas, he needs to pay $15 remittance fee. If he had access to a mobile money account, sending money to his neighbor could cost him up to 20% of the payment as a transfer fee. In this current financial system, the vast majority of people are prospering. So we thought, what if we can change that? How can we bring people into a state of thriving and economic well-being? At Celo Labs, we are on a mission to build a new financial system that creates the conditions of prosperity for everyone. Our mission is at the heart of what we build and how we approach every decision. Before a decision is made, the question is always asked, is this creating conditions of prosperity for everyone? So it's worth noting what we mean by prosperity for everyone. We define prosperity in three ways: people's basic needs are fulfilled, individuals are able to grow along their own path, and people are supporting each other. I'll give you a few examples how we do that. We build with the users. We've gone to Tanzania, Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, Liberia, and the Philippines, to name a few, to get our mobile applications into the hands of users. We listen to them, bring our findings back to the team, and make changes according to our users' needs and wants. We believe in designing with communities. We collaborate with them to bring financial tools more accessible for everyone. They are community organizers, enablers, builders, givers, growers, and educators who collaborate with us to make a big impact in creating conditions of prosperity for everyone. We also believe that we have a lot to learn from each other. We partner with mission-aligned organizations to create a more prosperous world with us. For example, we partner with Give Directory, an organization that provides unconditional cash transfers to extreme poor. With the Celo Platform, they can reduce the transfer fees, and it could be up to 95% savings in fees. Lastly, we strive for prosperity internally and externally. If we can live our mission internally as a company, we won't be able to externally either. We focus on everyone's unique purpose and help them discover their own path to realizing their own full potential while working towards achieving the mission together in a supportive environment. So what is Celo? Celo means purpose in Esperanto, and everything that is done at cLabs connects back to purpose. Celo, in one sentence, is an open platform that makes financial tools accessible to anyone with a mobile device. When we interviewed Kaburu and others, it was clear that to meet their needs, we needed to build an experience that was similar to centralized services like M-Pesa or PayPal, while still remaining decentralized and permissionless. Like M-Pesa, they expected to be able to send payments to phone numbers and not to complicated public key-based addresses. And like Tanzania shillings they were used to, they wanted the value they were sending and receiving to remain stable. How can we overcome these challenges? Based on the feedback from our end users and our user research, we learned early that we had to build a full stack solution in order to achieve the best possible end user experience for our target end users, like Kaburu and others. It wasn't enough to build a decentralized piece of infrastructure, or to build only the application solution on top of an existing platform such as Ethereum. And based on the same user research and feedback, we also recognized that we had to build a Celo protocol with the three main design goals: open, programmable, and mobile first. Celo protocol must be open and inclusive. Celo is built on a blockchain-based cryptographic network that is open source and decentralized. Blockchain is an append-only immutable database that stores any transaction of value. For example, a money transfer on a log, also known as a ledger. Unlike most logs like a bank that sits with one entity like Chase, this log is replicated by and lives on tens of thousands of computers that are called validators, making the data immutable. Celo Platform is open to anyone who wants to build on top of it, and anyone can join the network without permission from any one controlling entity, making it distributed and decentralized. When you build an application on top of decentralized platform, they call it dApps, or decentralized applications. Celo protocol needs to be programmable so that anyone can easily build applications on it, but in a decentralized way. To help make building applications easier for programmers, we made sure to be backward compatible with Ethereum's programming language, which is currently the most mature programmable blockchain. This will allow programmers to use existing Ethereum-based programming tools to build applications on the Celo blockchain as well. And it will even allow programmers to very easily port applications running on the Ethereum platform to be also able to run on Celo network. Finally, it needs to be mobile first. Mobile phones have become necessary to living. More than 7 billion people have mobile phones, but only 4.5 billion have toilets. For this reason, Celo Platform needs to be easily accessible by anyone with a mobile phone around the world to meet their financial needs. Celo Platform is built to work seamlessly in a low compute resource environment. This will allow nearly anybody in the world to access the Celo blockchain and all the applications that are running on top of it. Let's zoom into the Celo's open platform stack first. Celo's open platform stack is composed of two layers, blockchain and smart contract. The underlying blockchain layer 1 is implemented from a forked Go Ethereum, also known as GET, code base with additional features like a BFT-based proof-of-stake consensus algorithm, GK-SNARK-based ultra-sync protocol for mobile phones, and easy transaction fees based in Celo dollars, which is ERC20 token compatible. And because the Celo blockchain is a fork of GET, it is fully EVM compatible, so any smart contract written for Ethereum can be easily developed and deployed to Celo. And layer 2 is a smart contract layer for stability protocol for stable coins issued by the platform. And it is also the lightweight identity protocol that maps phone numbers to cryptographic addresses on the network. And it also has the on-chain governance that allows upgrading without having to hard fork, to name a few. We developed a number of key Celo protocol features, and I would like to highlight a few of that really affects our end users. Mobile first. We developed a lightweight identity protocol that maps the hashes of phone numbers to public keys, making it easy for anyone with a mobile phone to send and receive digital currencies to anyone in the world just having the phone numbers. Fast sync for ultra-light clients. We're using cutting-edge cryptographic techniques based on GK-SNARKs to reduce blockchain headers, allowing low-resource computers to access the blockchain in a fast, highly secure way. This can make Celo over 17,000 times lighter than other blockchain platforms. Stable value currencies. For millions of people around the world, their local fiat currency is failing them, in many cases due to hyperinflation. And in extreme cases, this can be devastating. As an example, estimates for year-over inflation in Venezuela last year were as high as 1,000,000%. In circumstances like this, people often seek to move wealth into more stable assets, but can face obstacles in doing so. And so we built an algorithmic stability protocol to allow us to peg ERC20-like currencies to real-world assets, starting with the US dollar, so that stable value currencies can be easily accessible to anyone around the world. And gas is payable in multiple currencies, giving end users ability to pay for transaction fees in stable value currencies like Celo dollar and enabling simplified user experience. We also built a first application on the Celo platform, which is a social payment application, very much like a Venmo. The key difference is that it's powered by a decentralized system. This is the first of an ecosystem of applications, allows users to manage accounts and make payments securely. This approach is unique for a crypto company in that we are designing the end-to-end user experience. Similar to how Apple builds the software and hardware and has the App Store, but in a decentralized way. Before we go deep dive into the Celo wallet architecture and design, we'd like to do a quick live demo to illustrate how easy it is to use Celo Platform to onboard end users to the Celo wallet. John would start giving the demo. John, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Judy. So I'd like to walk you through the demo scenario. So we're going to use a Celo Alpha iOS wallet, which is connected to the Alpha iOS network, which is a test network. So I'll send myself an invite to the app. Also, you can invite yourself from the website. And upon receiving the invite, I'll set up my wallet and I follow onboarding. I'll open the app. I'll enter my phone number and invite code. And I will get my phone number and my Celo wallet identity verified, which I will explain further during the verification process. And once the verification process is complete, I should be ready to use the Celo wallet. And I will initiate a transaction by transferring Celo dollars to Judy. Okay, let me share my phone screen now. Okay, you should see my phone screen. Judy, can you stop the slides, please? Thank you. All right. Okay, so this is my phone screen. So the first step is to download the Alpha iOS app and get an invite code. So to do that, I go to celo.org/app. All right, it's loading. And so now I've already done that step before starting the demo because I didn't want you to know my real phone number, of course. But yeah, you can just fill in yours when you actually do this on your device and select the platform you're using and get the same invite code. So my invite code is currently here in the Messages app. So we're going to use that. So I've also already installed the app, which I'm going to open now. Okay, so this is the very first screen of the application. So I'm going to select my language, English. All right. So next is entering my name and country and phone number. Okay, so as you can see, this isn't my real phone number, of course. I've enabled a special mode for the demo, so I don't expose my real phone number. Okay, next. It prompts me to enter an invite code. Oh, sorry, no. No, the next step is to actually create the PIN to secure my account on this device. So as you can see, I'm entering a very secure PIN here. All right. So next is entering my invite code. So we're just going back to the message app, and we can just copy the full message by long pressing, and we can go back to the app and paste. Okay. So the invite code is needed to create your account on the network and have enough funds to pay for the transaction during the verification process. So let's allow for push notifications to get notified whenever I receive funds. Okay, so the invite code worked. My account has been created using a randomly generated private key only on this device. And let's see the next steps. So we are going to go through the verification process. As Judy mentioned, this allows mapping my address on the network to my phone number. You can choose to skip this step, but you won't be able to get the funds associated with the invite code. So again, when you create an invite code, you specify a phone number and you can optionally choose to send funds with it. And the person who received the invite code will only be able to access the funds if they can successfully verify the phone number and it matches the one in the original invite. All right, let's start this. Okay, so it's doing its work. So what's happening now is we're basically doing phone number verification in a secured, decentralized way. And there are 3 random validators that are being picked, and they will send verification to my phone number via SMS. And this is why this process is a bit longer than for a traditional centralized app like Venmo or PayPal. And we'll see in a couple of seconds the 3 messages arriving in my phone. All right. Okay. We should see that. Okay, that's it. We got 1, 2, 3 SMSs. Yeah. Let's enter them in the app. We can just click on the different invites. So we just selected the first one. And here we have 2 others. Second one. And the third one. The order doesn't really matter. You just, yeah, have to click the 3 links. Okay, I am now verified. Cool. Which means my friends can easily send me money using my phone number, and they don't need to know my hexadecimal address on the Celo network. Okay, so this is the wallet home screen. So I have the balance of my account in the top left, displayed in euro because I'm using a French number, and it's selected the default currency for my country. And you can select other currencies in the settings. And underneath the balance, you can see the amount in Celo dollars, which is the actual currency used in the whole system for transactions. So then we have the activity feed showing my transaction. So far we see we have the invite with a little bit of font in it. Then we have the verification transaction, which we had to pay during the verification process. And then we have the escrowed amount associated with the invite, which was unlocked since I successfully verified my phone number. Okay, so now let's send Judy some money. I want to reimburse her for the ice cream we had yesterday. So let's go here in the send now request screen. So it says it's syncing contacts. This doesn't actually send any private information. It only hashes the phone numbers of your contacts to check whether they are already verified in the system. Let's wait for this process to finish. Okay. So let's see, let's find Judy now. Okay, it should appear soon. Oh, here it is. Here she is. Okay, let's select her. And it says it's already verified, so I can directly send some funds. And okay, let's send her €2 for the ice cream. Yes. Okay. And then we send. And if right now you can see the confirmation screen, so you can see exactly the amount I'm going to send to her. And you can see also a security fee, which is currently very small. You might be surprised by this if you're not really familiar with cryptocurrencies and are used to centralized applications like Venmo and PayPal, which usually don't apply any fee. But in a decentralized cryptocurrency system, you have to pay a fee for sending transactions to ensure it will be processed by the network and reward the validator, including it in a block. And this also incentivizes good behavior on the network, so it's not flooded with a useless transaction. But again, yeah, this fee is very small.
If you considering the Yeah, so one thing I'd like to add is if you consider the cross-border payment system and PayPal or Venmo, I don't think Venmo even has the cross-border payments tools or feature. But if you do the cross-border payment system, which is John is doing, because John is located in France, while I'm located in Berlin, Germany, and the security fee is the same regardless of where we are.
Yes, thank you. All right, let's hit send. And you can now see the transaction in my feed, which is which is not yet confirmed. And this usually takes just a couple of seconds. So you can see my balance has already been updated. And yeah, that's now the activity is up to date. And Judy should be able to see that transaction on her own screen. Let's see that, Judy. Can you make your screen bigger? All right, yeah, here is the transaction. Okay, that's it for the demo.
Awesome, thanks for the €2.
You're welcome. Okay, now I'm gonna share my screen again with the slides. Oh, Judy's making the sound with the robotic sound from your end. Okay, yeah, good, thank you. Okay, so as you can see from the demo, the Celo wallet is built with our end user in mind. It's self-custodied, meaning the end user has full control of their assets. And it also supports sending assets securely to a phone number that has not even been registered yet. And those assets are held in a decentralized escrow application. And ultimately, only the account with the receiver phone number is able to withdraw from the escrow. Okay. So now let's talk about the architecture of the Celo wallet you just saw. We're going to cover the overall architecture, tools, and libraries used. So the app uses React Native under the hood. Can you focus the slides, please, Judy? Thanks. So the app uses React Native and runs on both iOS and Android. So let me explain React Native a little bit here. So React Native lets developers build mobile apps using only JavaScript. It uses the same design as React, enabling a rich mobile UI from declarative components. The framework lets developers build apps faster. So instead of recompiling, the app can reload instantly. And with hot reloading, the app can run new code while retaining its application state. And the end products built with React Native are generally indistinguishable from apps built using Objective-C, Swift, or Java. This is because React Native uses the same fundamental UI building blocks as regular iOS and Android apps. They are just put together using JavaScript and React. So unlike past iOS Android app bridging solutions, React Native is not for building mobile web apps or HTML5 apps or hybrid apps. React Native combines smoothly with components written in Objective-C, Java, or Swift, and it's generally not necessary, but in a worst-case scenario, React Native makes it simple to drop down to native code if needed for specific aspects of an application. In general, React Native allows for 95% code sharing between iOS and Android applications, and this effectively cuts development costs in half and enables synchronized application updates and feature rollouts. Okay, so before diving into the details of the Celo app, I want us to have a quick look at a traditional mobile application. So a traditional client-server application usually talks to one or more central APIs, which usually stores its data into a database, like you can see here. So this is really a simplification. So Now, in the Celo wallet application, there is no central API. The application connects to the Celo network using ultralight sync and sends and receives data from this peer-to-peer network. And unlike other crypto wallets, the Celo wallet embeds the Celo blockchain code and connects to the Celo network like any other node of the network, but using ultralight sync, which is also known as PUMO, which doesn't need to sync the full blockchain state by using cutting-edge cryptographic technique based on ZK snarks, which Judy mentioned. And there will be a tech talk about this later on as well. So this means you don't have to trust a centrally managed intermediary to send transactions or query the network. But to be honest, there are some parts that still use the traditional client-server paradigm we saw in the previous slide, but in the long run, we want to decentralize them all. Okay, so now let's have a look at what happens when you send money with the app. So you select the recipient and specify the amount. And under the hood, the app uses ContractKit, which is part of our developer SDK. And it uses it to create the transaction object, as you can see on the left here. Then it signs it using the private key only present on your device. And at this point, the app prompts you for your PIN to unlock the private key used for signing. And finally, it broadcasts the signed transaction to the Celo network. And the validators on the network process it. And once the consensus algorithm succeeds, the transaction gets added to a block, and the block is added to the Celo blockchain. Now, when the application needs to read data from the network, here fetching the value of your balance, it fetches a state from the network with the contract bytecodes and executes it in the embedded VM to get the results. Okay, we now have hopefully enough context to look at the next section, which is tools and library use. So React Native's use of JavaScript not only enables cross-platform application, but also gives developer access to tooling that may only exist in JavaScript. And in that context, Node-lib React Native is important because it allows using libraries that are targeting the Node.js environment. With this, we are able to use web3.js, which is a JavaScript API, to talk to the JSON RPC API endpoint of Ethereum nodes. And Celo blockchain being... Judy, we hear the robot from... We cannot hear you, sorry. I think it comes from your headphone. If you can just... Yeah. Do you want to give it another try? I cannot hear it. You're muted. All right, let's get to the next slide. Here's an example exchange of a JSON RPC to get the balance of your account. So we send a request containing the method we want to call and its parameters. And then we get a response with the result, again, in the JSON format. And when we're talking to a Celo node, as I was showing earlier in the architecture diagram, the Celo mobile app binary embeds a Celo Lite node, which includes a JSON RPC endpoint. And with this, we're communicating with it at the JavaScript level using ContractKit and Web3 on a local Unix socket. And the same interface is used to call smart contracts. So talking about smart contracts, this is an extract of the Celo stable token smart contract, which is ERC20 compliant, like Judy mentioned, also known as Celo dollar. It's written in Solidity, and the full code is around 600 lines of code, comments included. And if you're curious, I encourage you to have a look at it. It's in the protocol package in the Celo monorepo on GitHub. Now, the contract application binary interface, also known as ABI, is a standard way to interact with contracts in the Ethereum ecosystem, both from outside the blockchain and for contract-to-contract interaction. So we use TypeChain to generate type-safe bindings to call Ethereum smart contracts. And it takes the ABI of the smart contracts as input and creates TypeScript code to interact with them in a type-safe way. So this ensures we are calling the right methods with the right arguments at compile time. And this is important when we make changes to them to be sure we are like calling the right thing and it doesn't crash at runtime, of course. So here you can see the generated TypeScript interface to interact with our stable token smart contract we saw earlier. All right. Now, all these details are abstracted away in our ContractKit library, which is part of the Celo SDK. And this library helps developers and validators interact with the Celo blockchain and Celo core contracts. It is well suited to developers looking for an easy way to integrate Celo smart contracts within their own applications. Okay, so now at a higher level in the app, we also use Redux Saga to manage complex asynchronous flows. So it uses an ES6 feature called generators to make those asynchronous flows easy to read, write, and test. By doing so, these asynchronous flows look like your standard synchronous JavaScript code. So let's have a look at this here. So this is the flow for sending transactions that we use in the app. Once you're familiar with the generator syntax, you can understand what's going on here without too much trouble, hopefully. So we send the transaction. Once we have the transaction hash, we attach the unconfirmed transaction. We're displaying the activity feed like you saw in the demo earlier. And this logic is wrapped by a retry mechanism here. In case, the network goes down or there's any other error. And once this is successful, we dispatch an event telling the transaction has been confirmed. And then after that, we update the balance of the user, depending on which currency it was using. And if there's any error in this process, we display to the user and remove the failed unconfirmed transaction from the activity feed, as you can see in the last catch block. All right. So finally, to be sure the app keeps working as expected, we are using Jest for unit tests and Detox for end-to-end tests, which allows interacting with the application like a user. This means tapping buttons, filling in inputs, and making sure that all features work as expected, and as we make changes as well to be sure we're not breaking anything we had. Okay, so to recap what we covered on the Celo wallet, it is self-custodied, it is fully open source, and it leverages many existing open source tools and libraries from the Ethereum ecosystem that you may be already familiar with. And the interaction with the Celo blockchain is nicely abstracted away in ContractKit, part of the Celo SDK, that you can use it too in your own application. Okay, so thanks for listening. And I'll hand the bar back to Judy, if she can come back, of course. Let's wait a little bit. All right, Judy, can you? Oh, we cannot hear you. You're still muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you, John. I hope everyone enjoyed today's Celo Tech Talk. Our next event in the series will be on May 14th at 5 p.m. Central European Time. Josh Kreitz will talk us through simplifying blockchain development with the Celo SDK. We're looking forward to seeing you also there. So next slide, please. Lastly, I'd like to mention that we are hiring, especially here in Berlin. I met Rene and Marek, who are two co-founders of cLabs back in last September. After learning about Celo and its mission and the team, I was very much inspired to join the company. And last December, I moved to Berlin from California to lead and grow Berlin engineering team, which is one of my unique purposes I'm working on at Celo Labs. In the earlier slide, I mentioned that at Celo Labs, everything connects back to our mission, and we ask ourselves, what we do will create prosperity for everyone. And that starts with us. We are shaping and nurturing the culture where everyone's basic needs as a partner are fulfilled, and everyone has a growth path with their unique purposes and support each other in our own journey. Whether you're a developer, designer, doer, or a dreamer, join us to build a new kind of financial system that creates the conditions of prosperity for all. Thank you. And we will take questions. The first question is from Valentin, and I installed the app from Google Play and signed up, and now the app can verify my phone number. I believe due to lack of money on my account, required to pay for gas for the verification. Is there a way to top up my account using the invite code I got now?
Okay, let me see again.
So Valentin, I don't know if he actually.
Valentin, I would recommend you to
invite.
Yeah, to invite yourself again and start from scratch, because if you aren't able to verify the first time, then you probably you don't have enough funds to verify again, and you need a new invite code. But there's also another way, which is you just keep the verification, and you can use your address to faucet yourself some funds from the Celo website. There's a form to do that. I can send the link if you want.
And the second question is, why do you need 3 different verification codes to verify your phone number instead of a single one? Do you want me to take that?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah. So we have to balance between the security and the user experience, and then therefore performance. We choose 3 random validators to verify the phone numbers of the end user requesting to be verified, validated for who they say they are. So using the phone numbers, the text message gets sent to the platform, and then 3 validators will be randomly chosen to send back the security code for them to enter into the phone number, as you saw during the demo. Hope that answered your question, Nelson. Okay. Thank you. Follow-up question is from the Valentin. It sounds like you are using a lot of asynchronous code on the client side event, even for simple read operations, like in your example with the balance. What's the difference in latency for those requests compared to traditional apps? Do you cache any state locally on the device to provide smooth UX?
All right, so the difference in latency is very minimal. So usually, I don't see much difference. I'm not even sure about the caching aspect, but I can follow up with that and give you a detailed answer.
Okay, next question is how does the ERC20 compatibility work in the case of token transfer? Can you transfer between Ethereum and Celo with some kind of a bridge in theory, or does this perhaps exist already? Do you want to take this question?
So yes, I don't know like the exact details, but I can definitely point you to one of my colleagues who know more about this. But yeah, there needs to be a bridge to do that, and currently
but we don't currently have that bridge.
We don't currently have it yet.
So the smart contract is the smart contract layer is written such that we are the applications running on the Ethereum platform, because it's all about like processing the smart contract, we can actually run the smart contract that runs on the Ethereum platform. But the gas system, how we charge transfer fee is different from the Ethereum, because Ethereum is a proof of work based versus Celo is a proof of stake consensus algorithm based platform. But we are going to have also deep dive session on the protocol stack, including the stability as well as proof of stake. Okay. Last question is, how long on average does it take to complete a transaction?
So it's usually, so the block time is 5 seconds. So usually within 5 seconds, like the transaction should be confirmed. Depending on how fast like your connection is. If you have more latency, it will get a bit longer, but yeah, that's the average time, yeah. So 5 seconds.
Awesome. I don't think there's any more question. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
See you on the next session.
Yeah, we'll definitely address all the comments, and this way you can
there was a comment. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, John, you can use HTTP process. How would that work on mainnet for the target user? John, do you want to take that? Because it's for the application.
Which one?
The first one.
The first question.
You can.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. How would that work on mainnet for the target user? That's a good question. So yeah, there will be no faucet, of course, because we'll deal with real money this time on mainnet. So yeah, on mainnet, if you are sent an invite from your friend, and there's a failure with the invitation, so yeah, it's a new invite will have to be sent. Of course, there's no way around this. But yeah, we'll try to make this process as smooth as possible. So people don't encounter that, of course. But yeah, it's definitely possible.
I think the second one comment is more like additional comment. As I understood it, it's distributed verification sent from the 3 different network members, which are validators. Yes, correct. Okay, looking through other comments. Nelson, I think you can't do this kind of transfers in the moment, but once in theory, could build some contracts in either chain to act as a bridge. Okay, so I think there wasn't anything to respond. All right, cool. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.